Hi guys, hope you all covered the basics of HTML. In this video, I am going to cover the basics of CSS. Without any further ado, let's get into the video. First of all, we should know what is CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. The CSS is mainly used to style an HTML document. CSS saves a lot of our work. The next topic is how to add CSS in our project. There are three main ways to insert CSS into our project. The first one is Inline Css, second one is Internal Css, and the third one is External Css. An inline style may be used to apply a unique style for a single element. That is, to use inline style, we should add the style attribute to the relevant element. This style attribute can contain any CSS property, for example, color, background color, text align, etc. Let's look at an example.
If we need to change the color of this heading, let's first of all add the style attribute in the opening tag of each one. Then we should add the property and the value here. So here we are changing the color of this heading to red color. If we want to see the live changes, just right click on the index.html page and then click the open with live server, and you can see the live changes of our project.
So then you can see the live changes with this extension. If you don't have the open with live server extension, then just go to the extensions here and then search for live server, and you can see the live server extension here and you can install it. So here the color of the heading is changed to red. At first the color was black. Like this, you can change the color of the paragraph also. So here we can maybe change the color of paragraph into yellow. And just save the document by pressing Ctrl S. And we can see the live changes here. Here the color of the paragraph is changed into yellow. Okay, let's go to the next step. The next way is internal CSS. First of all, let's remove the inline CSS from our code. Okay. An internal style sheet may be used if one single HTML page has a unique style. That is, the internal style is defined inside the style element inside the head section, that is here. We should write our CSS code in this style element. For example, we need to change the color of the heading. Now the default color is black, so we can change the color into blue. Let's save this and look the changes. So here the color of the heading has changed into blue. Also we can align the text into center by giving text align property. Text align to center. Let's save and look. So here the heading is moved into center. This is how we add the internal CSS to our project. Okay, now let's move on to the last step, that is external CSS. With the use of an external style sheet, we can change the look of an entire website by changing just one file. Before that, we can remove our internal CSS from our code. For adding external CSS to our code, we should create a new file named style.css. Here we are writing the CSS codes for our HTML page. Also, if we are using external CSS, we must include a reference to the external style sheet inside the link element inside the head section, that is here. We should use a link element and then we should add the reference here, that is to the style.css file. So after that, just save the document and then You can write the code here. Change the color of the paragraph into blue. So let's look how we are going to do that. First of all, we should select the element, that is h1. So, and the property color, we should change the color to red. So red. Let's save and get the result. Look, now the color of the heading is changed to red. The next one is paragraph. So next we should select the element paragraph and color should be blue. And save the document, then we can see the result. The color of the paragraph has changed to blue. This is how we are using external CSS in our project. Okay, then if we use inline CSS, internal CSS and external CSS in the same file, then inline CSS has the most priority, then internal CSS and then external CSS. For example, so here we gave an inline CSS, so it will have the more priority. So the color of the heading will change to yellow. And also here we are using internal CSS for changing the color of the paragraph into orange red. But we have an external CSS also. But the internal CSS has more priority than external CSS. So the color of the paragraph will change into orange red. That is like this. That is all about types of CSS. Now let's move on to another topic. Okay, the next topic is selectors. So what is a selector? A CSS selector selects the HTML elements you want to style. Here I am going to explain the most basic CSS selectors. The first one is element selector. The element selector selects the HTML elements based on the element name. For example, if you only need to change the color of the paragraphs in your code, then just select the P element first and write your code in the external CSS. That is, select P element and write your code. That is, here I am going to change the color of the paragraph into brown. So let's save this and look. So here the color of the paragraph has changed into brown. Next we can change the color of the heading into chocolate. Save and look. So look, here the color of the heading has changed into chocolate. This is how we style our code using element selector. The next one is class selector. What is class selector? The class selector selects HTML elements with a specific class attribute. For example, we should give a class name to the element we want to style. Here I am giving a class name to the div element. You can give any name as class name. To select elements with a specific class, write a dot character followed by the class name. That is, here the class name is container, so we should first write a dot and then the class name, that is container. If we need to change the contents of the div element to center, then we can give the text align property. Text align to center. Now the contents of the div element become center. So this is how class selector works. HTML elements can also refer to more than one class. For example, if we define another class named BG, and here we change the background color of the div element to yellow. Background color to yellow. And see, then we can add the BG class to this div element. Let's save and look. So the background of the div section is changed to yellow. That's all about class selector. You can experiment many examples as you wish.